I'm John.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. So glad you're aboard. Do we have a show for you? Tony Perkins will join us. He, of course, president of the Family Research Council. Reince Priebus, the chairman of the RNC, will be here. Dr. Ben Carson will be here. Dr. Scott Gottlieb of the American Enterprise Institute will be here, as will Congressman Jack Kingston. And we're also going to be joined by Remy Spencer. You see her on the Fox News channel all the time, criminal defense attorney. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about with her. So we're very heavy on the political side of things today, as is usually the case. So I want to start with a story that I saw yesterday. Why am I doing this? What am I moving around for? I got to calm down. I got to calm down. All right. Yeah. Why don't you take a... There you go. All right. I want to start with a story that... I like it better the other way. I want to start with a story that I saw yesterday, the other day. Barack Obama speaking with the head of Disney, ABC, and ESPN, of course. And that is the head of ABC. I got him in my head now. I can't remember his name. Bob Iger. Thank you. Who I used to work for in another lifetime. Anyway, he told Bob Iger, I want to host Sports Center. Or I want to do the top 10 on Sports Center after I'm president. Yeah. Folks, one of the biggest myths of Barack Obama, if not, it can't be the biggest myth. One of the biggest myths is that he is a sports fan. And we've been through this before. But if he keeps bringing this nonsense up, I'm going to keep showing you the truth and telling you the truth. Let's start with, if we can, cut number 30. Here he is. The Dolphins, the 73 Dolphins went undefeated. He honored them a few months ago at the White House. And listen to what he said in cut 30.
It's mid-August, which means football is in the air. And I love baseball, but Sports Center is better when you also got some football on there.
There you go. There's a plug for Sports Center. Yeah. All right. And then he went on to thank and welcome the people who were there. And then he got to the coaches and owners. And here's cut 31.
I want to recognize and thank, first and foremost, their outstanding coach, Coach Shula, the legendary Hall of Fame Coach Shula. I want to thank the owners, Stephen Ross, and I want to thank Tim Roby and everyone from the Dolphins organization who helped make this event possible after all this time.
It's not Roby, it's Robbie. Joe Robbie Stadium, Tim Robbie, not Robbie, and not Roby, it's Robbie. So you got that wrong. Now, anybody who's ever heard of Joe Robbie Stadium would know it's Joe Robbie. It's Robbie, right? Any sports fan. But ladies and gentlemen, here's a man who claims to be, I'm a Southside kid. Yeah, I'm a Southside kid. You know, I love my White Sox. Oh, I love my White Sox. So here he is sitting down with Bob Costas a couple of years ago, and Costas tries to save him. He calls Comiskey Park with no N, Comiskey Park, Comiskey with an N, field. It's like calling Yankee Stadium Yankee, I don't know, playground, or Yankee Arena, or Yanks Arena. It's insane that any baseball fan would call Comiskey Park Comiskey Field, let alone if you're a Southside kid, a White Sox fan. It's fiction. Don't believe it. Here's the proof. And Bob Costas tries to save him. Cut 32.
Make no bones about it. You're a Southsider. You're a White Sox guy, not a Cubs guy.
Listen, I'm not a Cubs hater. You know, there's a certain type of White Sox fan that actively roots against the Cubs. So when the Bartman, there were people who celebrated on the South Side. I'm not one of those guys. I wish them well, unless they're playing the White Sox. But I do think that there's a different quality to what used to be Comiskey Field. versus Wrigley. You've got to really love baseball, when you used to go into that old field.
The old Comiskey Park.
Right, and if you're in the nosebleed seats and it looked like you were about to fall into the park, you'd get vertigo.
Costa says to him, the old Comiskey Park. Didn't rattle Kaminsky Field goer Barack Obama. Kaminsky Field. He made it Jewish, and he made it a field instead of a park. I mean, what the heck? And that's not all. Now you say, he had a bad day. You had a bad day. You didn't know the name of where the White Sox played. Okay. Well, he couldn't name a White Sox player either. What? That's right. It was opening day for the Nationals. He throws out the first pitch. He comes up to the booth, and here's how the conversation went. This is cut 33.
We do have to call you out on something, though.
What's that?
We said earlier you can take the president out of Chicago, but you can't take Chicago out of the president. You had to pull the Sox cap out, didn't you?
Listen, I want the Nats to do well. I love them. It's great for the city, but I'm a South Side kid, sure. And I've got to make sure that Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't get too angry with me.
He's a South Side kid, folks. This is like a fairy tale. It's like a legend, urban legend. It's nonsense. Here it comes. Hey, who was your favorite White Sox players when you were watching the White Sox in Chicago? Here's cut number 34.
And having played with the White Sox for a short time, I know how the Cubs fans and the White Sox fans go back and forth. Who's one of your favorite White Sox players growing up?
I thought that, the truth is that a lot of the Cubs I like too, but I did not become a Sox fan until I moved to Chicago.
He likes a lot of the Cubs too. So who's your favorite White Sox player? Humana. Ed Norton? Well, he didn't name one White Sox player, and the truth is, I like a lot of the Cubs too. Did you name one? No. And you know why? Because it turns out he's an Oakland A's fan, or he was. What? Here's cut 35.
I was growing up in Hawaii, and so I ended up actually being an Oakland A's fan. But when I moved to Chicago, I was living close to what was then Kaminsky Park.
Kaminsky Park. So he kept it Jewish, but he made it a park at least this time instead of Kaminsky Field. Folks, he is a fairy tale. And here's the proof for this. Even when it comes to welcoming the world champion Miami Heat. 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 What did he call them? Let's go to cut 29, ladies and gentlemen. Cut number 29. The great sports fan, Barack Obama. And here he is.
Finally, it would be incomplete if I did not congratulate the city of Miami for having the world champion Miami Heats.
Miami Heats with an S. There's a lot of them. So they're the Heats. Now, folks, I don't know what to say. Other than just like if you like it, doctor, you could keep it. Look, Richard Wolff, big leftist, MSNBC, did a book on Obama, had unfettered access to him during the first campaign, wrote a book, and said in the book that Obama hardly ever went to Reverend Wright's church. He only joined it to get street cred. Bill Clinton said of Barack Obama during the 2008 campaign, his story is the biggest fairy tale ever. Made up. He is a made-up story. He is nothing that he appears to be, in my opinion, and certainly when it comes to sports, he knows nothing. The big Southside, big Sox, big, gotta wear the hat, love the Sox, Southside. Jerry Reinsdorf can't get mad at me. Can't name one player on the White Sox team. Gets the name of the coach of the Dolphins wrong. The name of the Miami Heat wrong. The name of Comiskey Field wrong. Then he's an Oakland A's fan. What? And did he name an Oakland A's player? No. Please, don't be bamboozled. Don't be okey-doked by this man, no matter what he says. It's all the same. It's all the same. It is a complete fabrication. And what can I tell you? All right, folks, we're coming back, and we're going to talk about a serious issue regarding China with Peter Brooks at the Heritage Foundation. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Heart disease is the biggest killer disease in America, and this doesn't surprise me. We are addicted to starches, sugars, fatty meats, and salt. People who live in countries with little heart disease eat very differently. One way some people stay heart healthy is by following what is known as the caveman or Stonehenge diet, so named because of its similarity to the way our prehistoric ancestors ate. People who follow this type of diet live off local fruits and root vegetables and get their protein mostly from fish and wild game they shoot themselves. Now, since most of us don't hunt or fish for all our protein, here are some simple tips on how you can start to eat like a caveman, modern day style. First, fill up on fruits and vegetables. Eat them first and you'll be less hungry. Feast on fish, which is rich in nutrients but not in calories. Choose fatty fish like mackerel, herring, sardines, and salmon, which are rich in heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids. Get out and go for a walk. Remember, our ancestors were hunters and gatherers, so they didn't spend their time sitting in front of a TV or computer all day. If you live more like a caveman or a cave woman, your heart will love you for it. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thank you for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Remy Spencer, criminal defense attorney, frequent Fox News commentator, joins us right here to talk about Obama's selective enforcement of various laws and other issues as well. But right now, we're joined by our friend, Senior Fellow in National Security Affairs at the Heritage Foundation, Peter Brooks. Hello, Peter.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Great to talk to you again. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so tell us, explain to me China decided that they were going to enforce this, what's it, ADIZ, Air Defense Identification Zone. ADIZ, okay. I have that. I guess I made it Muslim or something. I don't know. And it's over a large portion of the East China Sea. And our vice president is over there now to try to, I don't know, talk to them about it. But
I'm sure it's all okay now.
Yeah, everything's fixed. After he asked the Japanese women if their husbands mind that they work full time. What a character. But anyway, China, I mean, I thought that this was something we were against, but then I now hear that this is something we might let China just do. I mean, I don't know how we could stop them, but we might not even put up a fight. To explain to the folks what this is all about and where we as a country stand.
Well, there's interesting. The Chinese have developed this ADIZ, Air Defense Identification Zone, and we've had one going back to the 50s around the United States. The idea here was putting out a buffer zone off your coast to differentiate passenger aircraft from like a Soviet bomber. In other words, as the Russians might come out of the Russian Far East towards Alaska, we wanted to know if this was a Pan Am or a TWA aircraft coming to land peacefully and deliver passengers in the United States, or it was a Soviet bomber coming to nuke us. So we asked people to follow certain procedures so we could differentiate between military and civilian aircraft. So people have ADIZs. Not all countries do. Out in that part of the world, the Japanese have one, the South Koreans have one. And it's arbitrary. I mean, it's not based on any international law. It's something that a country does for its own national security.
But the Chinese are taking it to a different level, right?
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. So the Chinese have a point, up to a point. They have a right to have an air defense identification zone, but what they're asking people to do goes beyond what standard practice is. First of all, the requirements are higher. You need to file a flight plan in advance. And generally, what you need to file a flight plan is if you're going into a country. So if a plane's coming here from Tokyo, they file a flight plan and tell, Alaska that they're coming through and they're going to be landing in Chicago. But aircraft operating in international airspace don't have to, such as military aircraft, don't have to file flight plans. Can you imagine filing a flight plan every time you took off an aircraft carrier deck?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so anyway, but the Chinese are saying, now you got to tell us whether you're military or civilian, and even if you're not coming into China, even if you're just passing through the zone, you have to file a flight plan with us. Then you have to check in with Chinese air traffic control, and after that, you have to follow any instructions we give you, which really kind of pushes it to a whole new level. And beyond that, Steve, is that the Chinese zone, which I said is arbitrary, it overlaps the zones claimed by Japan and South Korea, making them very unhappy since the Chinese didn't consult with them, didn't talk with them, didn't try to say, okay, we'll cut it halfway between our air defense zones. And then beyond that, they also put it around a disputed territory they have with the Japanese.
Right.
So that's, the concern here is that you're going to get a bunch of aircraft flying in the air. The Chinese, pilots could be up there, fighter pilots. The Chinese said they're going to patrol this with warplanes. We could have something like we had in 2001 with the American EP-3 aircraft and the Chinese fighter, or, God forbid, the KAL-007
right.
in 1983, remember, when the Soviets shot down.
Blasted it right out of the air. All right,
exactly.
So Peter, and we're talking to Peter Brooks, Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I mean, is this a provocation? And I assume you'll say yes, of sorts, but whatever you say, is this brought on by the fact that obviously our foreign policy is weak and in shambles, and we have a leader who's willing
to territorial dispute with Japan? But the fact is that we say that island, although it might be, the sovereignty might be in dispute, it's actually under the administration of Japan, because we turned it back to them when we turned back some of the islands in the 1970s, like Okinawa and things like that. So it's not only pushing against us, or against Japan, it's pushing against us because we have a defense treaty with Japan. And the Chinese feel like, they feel like we're equals now. The United States and China are equals. They talked about a new great power relationship, which means that we, are basically the same. It's not a big brother, little brother relationship anymore, and they're throwing their weight around. The problem is that as they do this, there could be misperceptions, there could be miscalculations, which could lead to a crisis, and then who knows what after that.
Yeah, and what about what's going on with North Korea? Real quick, of course. I've always felt that China runs the show there, and they could put them in their place. Is that the case? And what do you think is going on with our dear leader's uncle
I don't know,
getting
ask
kicked
Dennis
out?
Rodman.
Yeah, I know, and some other NBA stars. I know.
He's the most senior. He's the most senior American, the only American to have met with the Kim Jong-un. So,
that's pretty frightening. Maybe he likes his nose rings and his ear rings and his rings all over the place.
It's interesting to me, that he's our special envoy. He's not really officially, but I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, it's serious. I mean, we really don't know. It's quite a mystery. I mean, this young man is probably his uncle was kind of his I don't know exactly the right term for it, but his guiding light, his sort of mentor, and I think at this point the young leader has said, "Hey, I got it. You're out of here."
Yep.
And doesn't want any threat to his power, and that's where we're at now. I'm not sure exactly what that means for us. I mean, the military, the nuclear program is still a priority, but and I don't think we're going to see a lot of reforms coming out of there. But it's still a very, very dangerous part of the world. I mean, it's right next to China, and you got major powers: Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. So it's something that needs attention. But once again, I think the Chinese feel that we're in decline, that we're weak, and that they can take advantage of that.
Well, I think they got that right now. Unfortunately, Peter, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. All the best.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peter Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, Heritage Foundation. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. All right, when we come back, Remy Spencer, we'll talk about Barack Obama's power grab, and we'll talk about some other issues as well. A frequent flyer trying to sue in the Supreme Court against an airline, saying he was treated poorly, and more on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy's stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man named Tom Hutchison, a veteran of Wall Street for over 2 decades. Tom noticed that the wealthy invested differently than normal people, and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our...
Severe. The problem with what the president is doing is that he's not simply posing a danger to the constitutional system, he's becoming the very danger the Constitution was designed to avoid, and that is the concentration of power in every single branch. So joining us now to talk about that and so much more is Remy Spencer, criminal defense attorney, and you watch her on the Fox News channel. She'll be on Cavuto later today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to talk to you. I'll just push that a little closer to you.
Thank you.
So what do you make? I mean, if it were only Obamacare, it would be bad enough. But here's a guy who, with the welfare reform, lowered the requirement for work in it. When it came to DOMA, way before the Supreme Court decision, he decided they're not going to enforce it. It goes on and on and on. Immigration, he tells ICE what to do, who to deport, who not to deport. It's becoming an epidemic with him, and it really is a power grab.
It is a power grab, and I do believe that the president, his actions create an impression that the people can't trust him anymore. The president has the authority to enforce the laws, uphold the laws. He doesn't have more, he doesn't have less. But his selective decision about when he's going to enforce something, for example, the employer mandate. For example, when he gets up and says, you can keep your plan, and then you can't, and doesn't really accept responsibility for his misstatements, what he knew, when he knew it. These are issues that the American people are rightly concerned about, because if we can't trust our president, our commander-in-chief, it calls into question a whole number of other things.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I just did a whole segment before at the top of the show about how he wants to be on SportsCenter when he retires, and how he's just a phony sports fan too. He doesn't even know names of players, so that's a myth as well. But to your point, the younger generation of people who were just polled, young voters who helped get him elected, they're deserting him on every level. They're deserting him with Obamacare, which is really bad news for Obamacare because they need those kids to sign up.
That's right.
But on every level, they don't trust him. They're disappointed in him. I mean, it seems universal.
I'm going to date myself now.
What is it like to date yourself? Where do you take yourself? No,
oh, please. I'm 37 years old. I was born in 1976, and I grew up. I remember the people not trusting government after the Nixon scandal. And it is sad to say that I feel like history is repeating itself. Certainly, we don't have the same exact scandal with President Obama, but we do have one incident after another. And if the youth of this country is questioning supporting its federal government, its leaders of the nation, the way we did when I was growing up. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs.
It is, and you talk about Nixon, and I think it was Newt Gingrich who started this little bit of a, if you want to call it a controversy, when he said that the lie that Obama told is much worse than the lie that Nixon told. And I mean, you know, Nixon was involved in a cover-up of a burglary, which really didn't affect you or me or any of the American public. But Obama lied about for 3 years that you could keep your doctor, you could keep your health plan, and you can't. And next year, 100 million of us are going to lose our doctor and our health care plan.
Look, I have great reservations and fears about Obamacare, but I am not willing to go as far as Newt Gingrich and say that what President Obama has done is worse than the cover-up of a crime. You're talking to a criminal defense attorney.
Okay, no, I get that.
And I believe very deeply in our state and federal criminal laws, and I think when we start talking about violations of those kinds of laws, it is a different story altogether. I'm not saying one is worse than the other. I'm saying we're comparing apples to oranges.
Okay, but for the American people, he's done more harm to the American people than Nixon did, I think.
Well, I think trying to rewrite the health care law the way he has, then the way he's blundered the rollout, the way he's lied to the American people, and then the way he's selectively enforcing it has a greater impact on a far greater number of people.
Absolutely. We're talking right now to Remy Spencer, and you could watch her on the Fox News channel, criminal defense attorney here on the Steve Malzberg Show. All right, let's talk about a couple cases that are out there. The Florida family of a woman, you remember the Navy Yard shooting a few months back. She was killed during the shooting at the Washington Navy Yard. They're the first to file a lawsuit against the government and defense contractors, saying that the officials ignored red flags about the killer's mental health and that they should have been more aware after what occurred in Fort Hood. So do they have a leg to stand on here?
They do. I absolutely think they do. We have to look at whether or not they knew or should have known that this man posed a danger. Did he pose a threat? There's a heightened standard because he has security clearance. He has access to weapons. And then the second question is, what could they have done to stop this? If they should have known about it under the law, then what could they have done, and would those measures have been reasonable? Would those accommodations have been reasonable? And here, the victim's family's lawyer is claiming in its complaint that all that needed to be done was institute some basic security measures, which we are all familiar with when you go to a courthouse, you go to an airport. Clearly, that's not an unreasonable or excessive request. So I do think they're going to be successful. I think their request for damages of nearly $40 million.
That's a little excessive, yeah.
That's excessive,
yeah.
But I think they will prevail ultimately.
Now, I don't want to throw you a curve, but how, if at all, would the fact that the government still maintains that Fort Hood, if they're going to bring up Fort Hood as a basis for why the government should have done more, that Fort Hood was a case of workplace violence and not a terrorist attack, will that enter into it at all, that classification?
Well, it might. That's a very good point. I think
I try.
I think the question is, did the shooter in this instance reveal any kind of mental health issues? Did he reveal any type of violence issues, anger management issues? Was he off balance? Did he have psychological problems? Because we're not talking about someone who's filing documents away in a file cabinet with no due respect to a file clerk. We're talking about somebody who was in a position to do exactly this horrific act of violence that he did. And it's for those reasons they need to be more closely attuned to him.
All right, Notre Dame University in the news, and it wasn't for a new football coach or anything this time around. For the second time, Notre Dame filing a legal challenge to Obamacare on the contraception mandate, claiming that the federal government has no constitutional right to compel the school to provide free birth control. Now, we've heard about a lot of these cases, but Notre Dame is a Catholic institution. So this is a little different than the case where, Hobby Lobby, which the Supreme Court said they will hear, where it's a private company and the government claims that if you're a private company or private employer, you have no religious rights. But this is, Notre Dame University. What do you think their chances are here?
You're right. The most important part of this procedurally is that the Supreme Court has not ruled on this issue yet. It is still ripe for determination. Now, I think that Notre Dame has a very interesting claim. It's grounded in First Amendment rights, your freedom to exercise your religion without government intrusion. We know that Obamacare, as it's written, provides no exception for a religious-based entity such as this college. And I think that the court is likely to hear this. Right now, the case is at a district court level. That's the first step in the process.
Long process.
It will be a long process, but I think it's a very important one because Notre Dame is not the only institution.
Oh, no, there's been plenty,
There are going to be many people affected by this.
Well, what's your take on this as an attorney? I mean, do you feel that, to me, I mean, it's so, I mean, as a layman, who fancies himself as an attorney sometimes, I think this is open and shut. I just don't see how you could tell a religious institution that they have to go against their religious beliefs and provide their employees something that goes against the grain of your religious tenets. I don't see how.
I think you're probably smarter and more well-spoken than most lawyers, so you can fancy
thank you
yourself
very much. Here you go.
lawyer.
Give me Chad, get me a shingle. I want a shingle here. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I would say is I believe they have a good chance of success. At its basic level, the First Amendment, the country was based on the principle that we could exercise our own religious rights and freedoms without any interruption, so long as we weren't doing harm to others.
Right.
So I think they have a good chance of success in the law. Also, it's important to note procedurally, the school filed a challenge in the past. A district court judge summarily dismissed it without a real evaluation or analysis under the law. So the school has taken very good steps, reasonable steps to work with the government to come up with a plan, an alternative to this strict compliance with the law. And after over a year, the school has said, we're grateful to the administration for your help. We're grateful for the time and effort you've taken, but it's still not a reasonable accommodation. And so they had no other choice to go to the courts and ask for a judicial resolution.
All right. Now, speaking of choice, and we're talking to Remy Spencer, criminal defense attorney, Fox News frequent contributor. All right. There's a rabbi who is suing Northwest Airlines. He's a frequent flyer member, and he claims that the airline they terminated him from his frequent flyer program because he complained about various things. Now, there were rumors that he complained about some of the food not being cooked enough or whatever, but that wasn't it. He talked about service. He talked about being kept from on tarmac before taking off and wanting to know what was going on. So I can't believe that that the question before the U.S. Supreme Court, under what circumstances frequent flyers can sue in these disputes. Does he have a leg to stand on, or is this ridiculous?
My knee-jerk reaction to this case was, why in the world is our United States Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, the one that I hold so dear,
wasting time
deciding this issue? Well, I'll tell you why. Because in the mid-90s, the Supreme Court said that the airlines, under federal regulations for air travel, had free rein to govern all of these types of programs. The reason the court is looking at it again today is really, in my opinion, because they're considering whether there is an exception to that free rein, unbridled, unchecked power that the airlines have. And in this context, it's probably going to come down to an issue of contract law. Basic, simple principles of contract law, which, in my opinion, should exactly be the topic that we're talking about when we talk about frequent flyer miles.
Right. All right, but if the airlines win this, I mean, I fear I mean, there's a passenger bill of rights or something, but if the airlines win this, I just think that they're going to consider it, they've just been crowned king of the hill, and they're going to go wild.
It's a legitimate fear. The truth is they've had that power.
Yeah.
They've had it for quite some time now. So I don't think that the decision, if it were to go in the airline's favor, is going to change much, except it's going to bring to the surface for the American people and all the travelers that they have very limited rights, and that your frequent flyer miles and everything that you pay extra for, it can be taken away at the whim of an airline.
Yeah, very, very frightening. Well, anyway, listen, it's been fun having you. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. We'll watch you on Cavuto later, and we are joined by Remy Spencer. So fascinating, and it would be very interesting to see what happens with these cases. I love watching these, and I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I guess I didn't have the patience.
I think you were smarter than us who went to law school.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, all right, good seeing you. We're coming back, folks. We have some sound bites in the next hour. We're going to talk to Tony Perkins, Reince Priebus, and we have Dr. Ben Carson coming up. So don't go away. You're here. You know where you are. You're watching the Steve Malzberg Show. You want to weigh in, 877 Newsmax, 877 Newsmax on Newsmax TV and radio. Thank you very much.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Constipation, gas, bloating. Most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the
people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. It's a very special documentary and commemorative issue of Newsmax Magazine celebrating the centennial of President Reagan's birth. First, here's a video clip from the award-winning documentary, Rendezvous with Destiny.
We're in the midst of a springtime of hope for America.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Impulses of an evil empire.
Tear down this wall.
I believe that together we can keep this rendezvous with destiny.
In the next several minutes, you will learn things about President Ronald Reagan that you've never seen, heard, or read before. Welcome to today's special Newsmax event celebrating the life and legacy of President Reagan. During this historic presentation, we will commemorate President Reagan's storied life. We'll revisit his 2 terms in office and recollect his proudest achievements and greatest challenges. Ronald Reagan's life reads like a fairy tale of success stories. He was an accomplished athlete, an honored veteran, a famous actor, the governor of California, and of course, our nation's 40th president.
He called himself a citizen politician and only entered politics when he warned government was gaining too much power. By then he was age 54. With a successful career behind him. Twice elected President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller government whose own government grew. A fiscal conservative who failed to balance the budget. His critics mistook his affability for weakness, but behind the smile and the charm existed an extraordinary leader with unique skills and bold and revolutionary ideas.
We only had time to share just a few of the top defining moments in Ronald Reagan's presidency, but you'll get to see them all in Rendezvous with Destiny. By the way, the president's close relationship with the Pope is especially fascinating. You'll also learn how dealing with an alcoholic father helped shape Reagan's ability to negotiate. And if you ever wondered what the leader of the free world likes to get for the holidays, well, you'll find that out as well. So let's review today in this free offer we are sending you a copy of Ronald Reagan, Rendezvous with Destiny, and the collector's limited edition of our issue commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Reagan's birth.
Right now, when you subscribe to Newsmax Magazine, you can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan 100th Birthday Commemorative Edition. That's $25 in bonus gifts when you subscribe. Go to News...
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
With 750,000 visitors to the site yesterday without a crash, and the Obama administration now confident that the website is functioning, at least for consumers, the way it was intended to, not necessarily yet for the health insurance companies, the Republican repeal movement may actually now fizzle out completely.
Yeah, they're hoping. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. The Republican repeal movement may be fizzling out completely because they think the website is working better. I mean, am I surprised that that's what Chuck Todd of MSNBC would say? No, not really. But, that's kind of a simplistic, optimistic, unreasonable Fantasyland type statement to make, which fits right in perfectly with MSNBC. By the way, this just in, a mass email was sent to Senate staff informing them that the Washington, D.C. HealthLink website has crashed. Hey, Chucky, what do you think of that? Congressional staffers must sign up for Obamacare through the Washington, D.C. exchange. So they can't be signing up today. The website crashed. Hey, it happens all the time, right? Hey, how many websites? Amazon, I don't know. I'm going to name any of them. Staples, eBay, whatever. How many of these huge businesses crashed on Cyber Monday, on Black Friday, on Thanksgiving? How many have crashed? How many of you heard Amazon? I said Amazon. How many of these places have gone down because just too many people have used it? I didn't hear of one. Not one. But, the Senate so... Now, of course, Harry Reid, many on his staff don't have to worry about this because they don't have to sign up for Obamacare. Mr. Hypocrisy himself. Now, in the great state of New Jersey, where, as you well know, I am from, not from, but I reside, I'll give you this. New Jersey now has internet gambling, okay? Internet gambling. Unfortunately, I think it's a bad mistake. But according to National Review, and I read you the story right here. John Fund, our buddy John Fund. President Obama's back selling his health care, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Well, I thought there was just a little story, but it's a big story, and I can't find the number. So I'll just go back to the headline because I won't be able to do justice to John's story here. But can't I just get back to the headline on the page I was looking at? Okay, here's the latest statistics from that. 50,000 people in New Jersey have signed up for internet gambling. 741 people have signed up for Obamacare from the state of New Jersey. There you go. That's enough to crash a website. By the way, the website signing up for gambling in New Jersey hasn't crashed, and they've had 50,000 people sign up. 741 for Obamacare. 741 for Obamacare. It is crazy. Now, I want you to give a look to this cut number 26. We'll put it up on the screen. Our friend Noel Shepard of Newsbusters, as they've been reporting, CBS has been one of the leading mainstream media outlets exposing the failings of Obamacare and the website, as we've been bringing you those reports here on the show. One of the standouts, of course, Cheryl Atkinson. She took to Twitter yesterday to pound the Obama administration for refusing to release information about healthcare.gov security tests and enrollment figures. Now, you see the first two, we put the first two up there. Obama administration still hasn't provided requested healthcare.gov security test info and enrollment figures under Freedom of Info request. She also tweeted, and they still haven't granted our request for access to healthcare.gov fix sites. She went on, though the White House did give access last week to hand-picked private corporate IT execs, just not the public/press. And she wrote, here's the protest letter news organization sent the White House, unprecedented restrictions on media. There's more. The letter is signed by CBS, ABC, NBC, New York Times, and many other outlets. White House spokesman Jay Carney has said they are working on the concerns. And then if you go back further, White House still hasn't authorized release of Benghazi night White House photos, which were requested a year ago. A year ago. They let those Osama bin Laden photos out. Remember, with the president sitting there in his little baseball jacket or windbreaker or whatever it was? In fact, says Cheryl Atkinson on Twitter, White House hasn't responded to any of our calls on the matter of Benghazi for the past year. Good for her. Good for her. Crazy stuff. Very crazy stuff. And this is a White House that doesn't care. This is a White House that just doesn't care. They'll enforce a part of the law. They won't enforce a part of the law. They'll postpone parts of the laws they don't like. They'll give exemptions to people from the law. They'll take a law and say, we're not going to enforce this anymore. We don't recognize it anymore. And now these requests denied by the, requests from the media being denied. Folks, I'm telling you, security, and more security. Because hackers have said it, security experts have said it, and the White House has not been forthcoming in providing information to the contrary. And what the hackers and security experts have said is, it is not a secure website. It is hackable, easily hackable. And there were security concerns documented prior to the launch, but the White House will not cooperate in just what those concerns were. Okay, folks, we're coming back. And when we come back, we will be joined right here by Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council, Steve Malzberg Show.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Do you have trouble remembering things you've known for years? Do you want to maintain your mental edge, support your memory, focus, and attention? After extensive research, Dr. Russell Blaylock discovered 4 essential nutrients that help sustain optimal brain function. Dr. Russell Blaylock then personally formulated Crescio, the dietary supplement containing these 4 brain boosters that promote brain cognitive health, improve learning and retention. Crescio supports brain circulation and provides antioxidant protection. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Crescio. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Crescio.com/special. Act now and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, Nature's Brain Boosters, Essential Nutrients for Peak Mental Performance. Give your brain the healthy support it needs. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Crescio.com/special. That's CRESCEO.com/special. Crescio.com/special.
This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks, and I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. You can finally have that room you've always wanted with our total basement finishing system. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again.
Call now for your free basement inspection at 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794. Learn how to waterproof your basement now. Call this number, 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. An Arctic blast making its way east is causing bitterly cold conditions that have been fatal in some parts of the country, and the cold weather could last until next week. Snow is piling up as that winter storm moves across the country's midsection, and frigid temperatures are spreading all the way from the west coast up to the Great Lakes. Now in Denver, the Salvation Army has patrolled the city to get homeless people out of these treacherous conditions. Overnight temperatures are still dipping below zero there. It's been so cold that road crews are using solid and liquid de-icers to try and keep roads safe, but they admit it's an uphill fight.
It loses its effectiveness at 15 degrees. Basically, we put it down and it has the potential to refreeze.
Now, the massive storm system has also dumped more than 2 feet of snow in Minnesota, where at least 5 people have died in weather-related accidents. So stay safe out there, everyone. Now, if you're planning on picking up some fast food today, prepare for long waits as workers are walking off the job to protest the federal minimum wage. Demonstrations are taking place across the country as workers want the minimum wage raised from $7.25 an hour all the way up to $15 an hour. That's the federal minimum wage. Now, they say this would not only benefit their families, but the economy as a whole. The move is something President Obama says he agrees with, and he says an opportunity gap and an income inequality issue are things that must be addressed. And 29 people are dead in a series of attacks on Yemen's defense ministry. A suicide car bomber blew up the gates of a complex in the capital of Sana'a. A gun battle followed there, and also at a hospital inside the complex, which injured an additional 70 people. This witness said he heard gunfire and saw people dressed in military uniforms throwing bombs inside the hospital. 2 medical staff members are among the dead. No group has taken credit for Thursday's attacks, but correspondents say it bears the hallmarks of an al-Qaeda attack. Officials say the situation is now contained, though, and most of the gunmen have been killed. Also overseas, John Kerry is meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem today amid tensions on Iran.
The United States will do everything in our power to make certain that Iran's nuclear program, a program of weaponization possibilities, is terminated.
As you heard, Kerry reassured Netanyahu that the Obama administration has a deep commitment to Israel's security. Netanyahu tempered his criticism of the agreement that the U.S. recently reached with Iran on nuclear weapons. Also, while Kerry is in the Holy Land, he met with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank. Kerry is still holding out hope for a new Mideast peace agreement. Started flying. Plus, a Newsmax exclusive with Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole. Immigration reform is back. His take on the House's plan to fix the broken system.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Do you owe the IRS? Do you have unfiled tax returns? Have you received a wage garnishment or bank levy? Maybe a lien has been filed against you. OMG Tax can help you with all your IRS tax problems. Don't wait another second. Take action now. Call my team at OMG Tax. Honest and professional, we don't make false promises. If you owe back taxes, or if the IRS is garnishing your paycheck, you need help now. OMG Tax can help you get your life back to normal. If you're serious about handling your tax matter, call OMG Tax now and get the peace of mind you deserve. Don't let the IRS take your next paycheck. Stop waiting and call our team at OMG Tax. OMG Tax has a straightforward, no-nonsense approach and has helped many Americans resolve their IRS nightmare. Call OMG Tax now.
Call 1-800-255-6485. That's 1-800-255-6485. 800-255-6485.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, Rockefeller Center's Christmas tree was lit for the first time this holiday season. The lighting of New York's official Christmas tree is a beloved annual event for the city. But in Philadelphia, the annual tree lighting there didn't go quite as well. This is in Love Park, a little ironic there, because a group of onlookers broke out into a fight. Police say 2 women had to be separated after the skirmish. The cause of the argument, One woman was standing in the other woman's way. So let's just remember it's Christmas, everybody. And Representative Tom Kroll of Oklahoma tells Newsmax TV during an exclusive interview that when it comes to immigration, amnesty is not an option. Kroll doesn't think there's any entertainment of that idea in the House, and he says Speaker Boehner's plan is still on track to come up for a vote.
Not only do I not favor, I'll just tell you politically couldn't pass the House, and there's no proposal out there that actually embraces amnesty.
That's going to do it for this edition of your Newsmax Now Update. I'm John Bachman. Now here's the Steve Malzberg Show in New York.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thursday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. Glad you are aboard. And we are joined right now by the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins, joins us once again. Hey, Tony.
Good afternoon, Steve. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you for coming back. Merry Christmas to you, and it'll be here before you know it, I guess.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying this time of year. I love the music, the gifts, and the cookies.
Yes, I'm a cookie freak, and that's my problem. I actually laid off the cookies for 8 straight days, cold turkey, and I lost about 3.5 pounds. So once I realized I could do that, I guess I figured it was okay to start eating cookies again.
That's right. You can lay off anytime. Why do that? Just keep eating.
Crazy stuff. Anyway, all right. So let's talk. First of all, you were in Israel with a congressional delegation and visited Benjamin Netanyahu, correct?
We were last month in a privately funded trip. We took over about 8 members of Congress. This is our second time to go over. What we've been doing is working to build relations between conservative members of Congress and members of the Israeli government, both the national and the local governments, mayors and others there in Israel.
Has the President of the United States tied the hands, do you think, in reality, of the Prime Minister of Israel when it comes to, I mean, is it possible for him to launch a strike within this 6-month period during this so-called interim agreement?
I don't think he's tied his hands. I think he's made it more difficult for him for Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli officials to operate. But I think the message is very clear that they have been very clear in saying they reserve the right to protect Israel and Israel's interest. What was interesting to me is 2 years ago we were there just when the whole issue with Iran and the status of their nuclear project was becoming more well known. And the Israeli officials were a little more reserved in their criticism of the U.S., looking for help, and that was before the election. This time around, they were very pointed in their criticism, basically saying, look, Western solutions don't necessarily fit the problems here in the Middle East. We want the partnership and the support of the U.S., but we know best what it takes to deal in this environment, in this arena. And we need the help of the U.S., but we don't appreciate the imposition of some of the solutions that they're bringing to the table.
Yeah. Do you think that the Senate will, in fact, impose new sanctions, or let it ride for the 6 months and see where it comes out?
Well, it's interesting because we're right in the midst of the Senate is working on the National Defense Authorization Act. That's been kind of sidetracked a little bit because of the effort to want to put amendments on, many of those dealing with Iran. The Democrats really, and the president doesn't want Harry Reid, and the president, I should say, there are some Democrats that are very clear about supporting Israel. The president and Harry Reid want to prevent amendments to that so they don't get into the Iran issue. We're going to see if they do or not. But there are clearly some on both sides of the aisle that understand the significance of this problem and also the political pressure that comes to bear on this issue.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I want you to listen to something that John Boehner said today about it was revealed that the Republicans are having kind of sessions on how to better be more sensitive when dealing with women and women's issues. Here's what Boehner said.
Well, I try to get them to be a little more sensitive. You know, you look around the Congress, There are a lot more females in the Democrat caucus than there are in the Republican caucus. And, some of our members just aren't as sensitive as they ought to be.
Do you believe that that's playing into the hands of the Democrats, or something left either better internally, and he could have said something like, when he was asked about it, something to the effect of, hey, we'd like to be able to reach out more appropriately to all constituencies, but to say sometimes we're not as sensitive as we should be to women, especially with Hillary on the horizon, I just think he's setting himself up here.
Well, it was interesting. I just came back from a couple of meetings on the Hill, and I talked to some members who were in that session about that. And here's what this is. This is a reaction to this so-called war on women. Look, let me tell you where the war on women is being waged. It is the Democratic Party that's putting an ideological emphasis on, like this. Let's take, for instance, a contraceptive mandate that they're pushing, which is going to cost jobs, going to cost women the ability to provide for their families. It's going to take away their health care because they're putting organizations and businesses in a position of having to choose between their religious freedoms, their conscience, and providing health care for their workers. Look, who needs to apologize for that are not Republicans. It's the Democrats. It's the president that's pushing this failed policy that's kicking families off of the coverage from health care and potentially ending their jobs. Now, what do the Republicans have to apologize because they've been fighting that? I don't think they have anything to apologize for.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And you see, it really disappoints me when I hear Boehner say that. Boehner should have said exactly what you have said. Exactly. And you could bring up the life issue, too, if you want, because they run away from that. But Boehner could have pointed to articles written quoting White House staff members over the years that it's a boys' club, that women working in the White House make less than men. Right on down the list. But instead, we're not as sensitive to women as we should be. And he leaves himself wide open. They're laughing at him on places like CNN now, giggling and chuckling. I just think it's a lose-lose strategy.
Steve, what women are concerned about is what mothers are concerned about.
Right, less women in the workplace now than in many, many, many years. They're losing their jobs. Their husbands are losing their jobs. I mean, it's a disaster.
And guess what's coming in the mailbox along with those Christmas cards?
Cancellation notices for health care.
Absolutely.
And next year, 100 million of them, right?
Yeah. So who's waging a war on women and the things that women care about?
Yeah. Well, I wish Boehner would listen to. He certainly listens to you more than to me, but I wish he would listen to somebody, because I just think what he said today was pretty ridiculous. Let's talk a little bit about a column you wrote about the tide turning against marriage equality. Very interesting piece.
Well, it's real simple. It's when you look at the electoral map, you look across the country and the states that there's the ability to turn this issue and redefine natural marriage. The easy states are gone. They've gotten those dozen or so easy states. Of course, you've had the courts weigh in some cases. Now it becomes much more difficult. You get into states that already have marriage amendments on the ballots. You're going to not only have to convince people to vote to redefine marriage, but you're going to have to convince them to overturn a state constitution. The threshold is a lot higher in most cases. So it becomes much more difficult at this point. And I think in some ways you're going to see a stalemate. Because in addition to that, Steve, what you have coming is, for instance, a case that's going to the Supreme Court. It is the case of Elaine Photography.
Yep.
That deals with the issue, this conflict between the rights of individuals, religious convictions, and those who want to redefine marriage.
They wouldn't photograph a lesbian wedding, and they're being penalized for it.
Right, in New Mexico. And in fact, it was a commitment ceremony. They don't even have same-sex marriage
right.
in New Mexico. They refused to participate. They were fined by the state for doing that. There's a hearing yesterday in Colorado with a baker. That decision is expected later this week or next week. So that as those issues become more prominent and people begin to realize this is not just about the marriage altar, but it really about fundamentally altering the cultural landscape of America, this process slows down.
So, Tony, we have 30 seconds, but let me just ask you. So when people on the left say there's no war on Christmas, not only is there a war on Christmas, but there's a war on Christianity and religion, our religious freedom.
Absolutely. And what we're going to have to come up with is a way to allow people to express their religious freedom, not within the four walls of a church, but as the founders envisioned, being able to live according to that faith. And that's what this administration has really had in the crosshairs, is driving that from the public square.
Yeah. Tony, thank you so much. Great to talk to you. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll speak to you next year.
Thank you, Steve. You too.
Thank you. Tony Perkins, ladies and gentlemen, Family Research Council President on the Steve Malzberg Show. When we come back, guess who's interviewing the president tonight? You want to hear his top 10 Obama remarks? We got him for you. Chris Matthews, as you've never seen him before. I mean, as you've always seen him before. Steve Malzberg Show.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a 3rd lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Breaking news and breaking hearts. Aww. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
But this guy seems like he can, since he's come from a white family and a black family, and he's married to a black woman, and they're cool people. They are really cool. They were Jack and Jackie Kennedy when you see them together.
Yeah.
They are cool, and they're great looking, and they're cool, and they're young, and they're everything seems to be great. I know I'm selling them now. I'm not supposed to sell, okay?
Right. Yeah, like a used car. He's selling them. That's Chris Matthews. He's going to be interviewing, as Wolf Blitzer would say, the President of the United States tonight. I love doing Wolf. Anyway, Chris Matthews, can't wait for that love fest. There can't be enough softballs in the world to toss it at Barack Obama from the pitching arm of Chris Matthews on MSNBC tonight. Well, we'll have it all for you tomorrow. You could be sure of that. But this is kind of insane. What you just heard was from January 16, 2008. You know, Barack Obama, they're cool. They're Jack and Jackie Kennedy, and they're cool. And he's half black, half white, and they're cool. All right, you want to hear? So that's a Media Research Center put out the top 10 most tingling quotes from Chris Matthews. That was number 10. Here's number 9. Cut 12.
Secondly, I thought the president showed his analytical mind, and he was at his best intellectually. I thought it was a great example of how his mind works, and what a mind he has, and I love his ability to do it on television. I love to think with him.
Okay, what an analytical mind. That was February 9, 2009, live coverage following Obama's press conference. What an analytical mind. Here is from April 1st, 2009, talking about Obama's trip to Europe. This is number 8 on the list, cut number 13.
But there is something cool. When they were both, there's a nice 60s term, when they were both walking to the helicopter, the Marine one, there was something like when he looked at her, you could just tell he said, isn't this something? Yeah, you could tell like they were experiencing I'm getting old here, the grooviness, the excitement of being this first American couple heading towards the Marine One, which is cool in itself, heading from there to Air Force One to a quick flight across the Atlantic on your own plane, and to meet with the world leaders as like the centerpiece of the world. I'm saying it again, I'm getting a thrill.
He's getting...
We agree. We girls...
Yeah, well, anyway, he's getting a thrill. Isn't that wonderful? All right, cut number 7 on the top 10 is cut number 14. Get a load of this one.
He just wanted to bring back what Bobby and Jack had given us. Well, he wanted to be his brother's brother. And then he turned that torch over last year to Barack Obama. Amazing history. Barack's now the last brother.
Barack is the last Kennedy brother, according to Chris Matthews, August 26, 2009. The torch was handed down from Ted Kennedy to Barack Obama, who's now the last Kennedy brother. Can't wait for tonight's interview. But that was only number 7 on the top 10. Here's number 6. This is from March 18, 2008, after Obama gave a speech on race relations. Cut number 15.
Some point after the program, please wait for the end of Hardball at least. But check this out on our website, msnbc.com. You can watch the whole speech. I think this is the kind of speech I think first graders should see, people in the last year of college should see before they go out in the world. This should be, to me, an American track, something that you just check in with now and then, like reading Great Gatsby and Huckleberry Finn. Read this speech once in a while, ladies and gentlemen. This is us. It's us with the scab ripped off. It's white people talking the way they do when they're alone with other white people, some people. It's black people talking the way they are when there's no white people around. It's an honest statement from a guy who comes from both backgrounds. We have never heard anything like this.
Never, 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 never. Never have we heard anything like this. Okay, number 5 on the hit parade is the thrill still surging up Chris's leg. September 7th, 2010, setting up a segment on hardball. Cut 16.
Hope that in America, no dream is beyond our grasp if we reach for it and fight for it and work for it.
You know, I get the same thrill up my leg, all over me, every time I hear those words. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's me. He's talking about my country, and nobody does it better. Can President Obama stir us again and help his party keep power this November?
He gets the thrill up his leg. Anybody ever get a thrill up their leg? What does that mean, a thrill up their leg? I don't even want to go there or think about it. Now, Get a load of this one. This is number 4 in the top 10. I hope we have time. Otherwise, we'll play the other 2 later. But cut 17. Is this Chris Matthews or is it Obama's press secretary? 17.
You play hardball, and so let's play hardball here. You've got a guy that just got elected president of the United States. He offers a job up, but Lyndon Johnson, you just said, Lyndon Johnson, very disciplined. He wanted to make the announcements. You ask people quietly behind the scenes, do you want to work as chief of staff?
Yeah, well, you know what? I want to do everything I can to make this thing work, this new presidency work. And I think that
Is
the
that
successful
your job?
model...
You just talked about
yeah,
you
that is
being a
my job.
journalist. So
my
your
job
job
is
as
to
a
help this
journalist
country.
is to make this presidency work.
To make this work successfully, because this country needs a successful presidency.
Yeah. Joe Scarborough saying, is that your job? I want to do everything I can to make this presidency work. Chris Matthews. And Scarborough's like, is that your job? Yes, that's my job. Well, at least he admits it. That was back in 2008. Obama's perfect. Number 3 on the hit parade, cut 18.
But this crazy Yahoo talk, do you think the people who push this stuff, this malarkey over and over again, this guy's done everything right. He's raised his family right. He's fought his way all the way to the top of the Harvard Law Review. In a blind test, becomes head of the review, the top editor there. Everything he's done is clean as a whistle. He's never not only broken any law, he's never done anything wrong. He's the perfect father, the perfect husband, the perfect American. And all they do is trash the guy.
July 17, 2012. He's never done anything wrong. He's never broken any law. The guy says he used to lock himself in a van and smoke pot. He admits he did drugs. He never did anything wrong, and he never broke any law. Wrong. Right on its face, it's wrong. I'm telling you, folks, this is a sycophant. This is the definition of a sycophant. All right, I'm going to save number 2 and then number 1 for later in the show. But we'll get to Chris Matthews. We've heard 10 through 3. Coming up will be Obama Just Like Jesus. And if the thrill up your leg lasts longer than 3 hours, like you-know-what from Viagra, we got those in the bank. All right. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be joined by the chairman of the RNC, first time on the Steve Malzberg Show. Reince Priebus will join us, and looking forward to that. When we come back after that interview, we'll do the remaining 2, I promise. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy's stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man named Tom Hutchison, a veteran of Wall Street for over 2 decades. Tom noticed that the wealthy invested differently than normal people, and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Oh, I try to get them to be a little more sensitive. You know, you look around the Congress, there are a lot more females in the Democrat caucus than there are in the Republican caucus. And, you know, some of our members just aren't as sensitive as they ought to be.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That was John Boehner speaking earlier today, saying how Republicans need to be more sensitive when dealing with women, talking about women's issues, talking to women. Joining us now to talk about that and oh so much more is the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Steve? Nice to be on the show.
It is such a pleasure to talk to you. I can't tell you. I've been an admirer of yours, and I'm glad we're finally doing this. And thanks for coming on. But let me ask you about what John Boehner said. Is he creating an issue that really didn't need to be addressed, or is he addressing an issue that craved addressing?
Well, I mean, I think that all the committees and all of the different groups have all kinds of candidate training that they are going through, and I think it's pretty par for the course to, you know, you go take issue by issue and you talk about demographics and you talk about dynamics in campaigns. I mean, I don't think it's any surprise that you talk about tactics and dynamics with candidates in order to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward in the field. So I don't know. You know, it's a different committee. I mean, we've got different programs here, and, you know, it's just really not something I'm too involved with as far as what the congressional committee is doing.
Right, yeah, and we should point out that he was talking about reports that there is this training going on, and, you know, to me, a better answer would have been, hey, look, we're working hard to reach out better to all constituencies instead of saying...
that's what we, you know, and that's what we've talked about in the beginning of the year. You might remember we did this growth and opportunity report, and so many people have talked about it, but really... You know, a lot of it had to do with the fact that, you know, it's like what our mothers told us so many times in our life. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and it's reaching out and talking to different demographic groups and being more consistent. And I think that we could, you know, that's an improvement that the party could use in all kinds of areas. But I would imagine that the Democratic Party has improvements they need to make, too. So I don't know how... You know, I guess it's a slow time in the news media, but with Obamacare out there, I guess they're looking for anything to talk about because they're just dying with the fact that Obamacare is a bad issue for the president. They probably don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, yeah, no, I absolutely. And the president, of course, is looking for different issues. And before we get to Obamacare, let me ask you about that. The president now, going back to all of a sudden, it's not jobs, it's not putting people to work, it's not even health care. The issue, the focus of the remainder of his presidency will be income inequality. Where on earth? I mean, he used to talk about that, but where did that come from as the number one priority of the rest of his presidency?
Right, and he continues the lies. Because here's the other thing, and I know that our listeners here understand this stuff, but just as a reminder, because I need to be reminded too of some of these things. It was under this president, Mr. Income Inequality, that you've seen some of the biggest spreads of income inequality on his watch than any president that we've had in modern times. In other words, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and it's happening under Barack Obama's watch. Look at the stock market. Look at the income distribution at the top 5%. They're doing a lot better under Barack Obama. Look at food stamps, Steve. We've had a 50% increase of people in this country that are on food stamps with this president. When Newt Gingrich, I think it was him, when he called him the food stamp president, it wasn't just some sort of cute label. The fact is, people under Barack Obama are poorer today than they were when he started. He's the guy that should be talking to himself and looking at his own face in the mirror and giving the speech to himself about income inequality.
We're talking to Reince Priebus, the chairman of the RNC, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Before we get to Obamacare, I just want to talk about the youth, and the approval rating among Americans is 41%, but he has really taken a huge hit with young Americans, the ones who helped get him elected. They're disappointed. They don't like Obamacare. They don't like him. They don't trust him. I mean, these numbers, quite frankly, are pretty shocking.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because Obamacare, the Obamacare package, was designed to screw over young people. It wasn't a mistake. This thing was not an accident. It was intentionally designed. Obamacare was intentionally designed to screw over young people so that young people pay for everyone else's stuff. That's what's going on. And don't make no mistake, this is not the last time you're ever going to hear me say these things. This is it's about time that we start telling the truth and quit monkeying around with talking points and go right to the American people and right to young people and say exactly what I just said. They're getting screwed over by a designed plan to take more of their money to pay for the stuff of other people.
All right, go ahead. No, I was going to say go finish, but I want you to hear, you well know this, you were on with Debbie Wasserman Schultz on Crossfire and CNN, and wow, that was quite a battle a couple nights ago, and I want to play a soundbite from that. Let's play that CNN clip, please.
When a woman comes up to me who's dealing with breast cancer, and she's told me that under the old system, before the Affordable Care Act, she had to choose between the radiation or the chemo because she couldn't afford the copay or the deductible on both, you're darn right.
Have you seen the polling in Montana, in Alaska, in South Dakota, in Arkansas on Obamacare? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Mr. Chairman, have you seen the polling?
And that's fine. I'm happy that you're going to run on Obamacare.
Repealing the Affordable Care Act, and have you seen the polling in support of all of the provisions that the chairwoman just went through? And you said that you have a plan. I'd like to hear exactly what your plan is that Republicans are running on, other than repeal.
All right, here's something I've been talking about for a long time, Reince, and I'm getting different answers from different people. You know, Tom DeLay said, no, the Republicans should not put forth a plan because it's unconstitutional. The whole concept of federal government involvement in health care is unconstitutional. I've had people tell me, well, let's go back to the way it was before. But I know the media, I know the Democrats, like I know, the little scar I got on by my eye there. And the fact of the matter is, if you put forth a plan, which I believe you should, to shut them up with these, where's your plan, where's your plan, where's your plan, and if it doesn't include keeping somehow pre-existing conditions, eliminating them, the donut hole closing or opening, whatever the heck it did, and keeping your kids on the policies until they're 116 years old, you're going to get beaten up in the media worse than you could imagine. So what do you suggest Republicans do?
Okay, first off, you mind if I just hit one thing?
Go ahead.
About that clip.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Honestly, it is sad if someone's going through cancer. I mean, I would never want. I mean, I've not gone through that. My mom, my wife, So I'm sensitive to those comments. But I would think that if someone had gone through that, they'd also be even more sensitive about the fact that millions of people are losing their health care and losing their doctor. Can you imagine going through that and then getting dropped from your catastrophic plan, or being told that, hey, the doctor you've been seeing for the past year and a half, that's not going to be your doctor anymore. I mean, I just find this to be sort of, they're cherry-picking cynicism that has developed into the Democratic talking points on this issue is dishonest from the beginning to the end.
Absolutely. You're correct. You're 100% correct.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, as to this plan, there are two things I want to say about that. First, I'm sick and tired of the idea of being, yes, I'm guilty of wanting to repeal, defund, and eliminate Obamacare because it's a disaster. I believe it's unconstitutional. I don't believe people want it. I think it's bad for this country. And so, yes, I plant my flag on the side of saying I want to get rid of Obamacare, and I don't think there's a darn thing wrong with that. But secondly, what I would rattle off immediately is, number one, open pricing. Make doctors and hospitals show us what they charge for their services. Number two, end junk lawsuits. Number three, I would have small businesses and individuals pool all of their millions of people and companies pool their resources together to allow for more access and lower prices in 1, 2, 3 bullet point. My point is, and I know you've heard these things 100 times, but the fact is, these are things we've never tried. We've never tried it. But so the false choice we're given by these Democrats is either you agree that universal European health care is right for this country, or you're an idiot because you don't have an alternative. I mean, it's just stupidity.
I understand that, and the polls are with you guys right now, and I could only see it getting worse because next year, as you well know, 100 million of us are going to lose our policies. So I understand that, but wouldn't you love to? Should the House not pass something on one piece of paper?
Maybe they will. I mean, maybe they will. But we've had 200 of these bills that have gone through. Now, should we pass another one just to make the point? I mean, maybe that's what they'll do. I'm not, I don't decide the flow of legislation, and usually it's a bad thing when I get involved in it. But I would just tell you that there are those three things I mentioned. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Open pricing, junk lawsuits, pooling. People say, competition across state lines.
Yep.
Number 4. Yep. But we as a party, what's very clear, though, in spite of my defense and you and I talking about this, it's very clear as a party that our candidates and our members, and me included, have to be very prepared to rattle off those 3 or 4 things immediately. And it has to be quick because, the Democrats will come and say, well, I think everyone should have health care. That's all. Like, okay, well.
No. Hey, Reese, let me tell you something. I agree with everything you said, and in an age of a fair media, that would resonate. But and I know, with all due respect, they're going to kill you if you don't say to them, when they say, what about pre-existing conditions? And you say, well, free market, savings accounts, whatever. They're going to kill you.
Well, actually, here's the other thing on this. First of all, Republicans have been out in favor of the pre-existing conditions piece. And as far as 26-year-olds being on their parents' insurance, all the insurance companies have already said, we're for that. We'll let that happen. We don't have a problem with that.
I know, but if you guys say you're for it, instead of saying the insurance companies will do it on their own.
Yeah, I did on Crossfire,
okay,
but what could you hear in 20 minutes?
I know. Look, it's just an uphill battle, and you know just as well as I, and I pride myself on knowing. And one more thing, back to, and we're almost out of time. Thanks for being generous with your time. Ted Rall, the liberal cartoonist who's in trouble now, they said he drew a racist caricature of Obama, which he says is obscenely ridiculous. He said if Hillary's the nominee, sexism will be the new racism in the 2016 election. If you disagree with Hillary, you're sexist. If you criticize her, you're sexist. And on the heels of what Boehner said today, do you believe that to be true?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what the cartoon you're referring to is, but
no, not the cartoon. But look, he just said going forward, Hillary is.
I think that there's clearly there has been a double standard, but the fact is we have to be. I don't really use it as an excuse. I think we just have to be better. We have to be great. They can be good. We've got to be great, and we just have to accept it that that's the way it is.
All right. Reins, a pleasure talking to you. I look forward to speaking to you the next time, whenever that might be.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's Reins Priebus, ladies and gentlemen, chairman of the RNC here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Very interesting, and we'll continue to discuss that. When we come back, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, resident fellow, American Enterprise Institute, talking about the exchanges. And can you keep your doctor? Is there a doctor shortage? All that and more straight ahead on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and, of course, radio. Don't go away.
Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. It's a very special documentary and commemorative issue of Newsmax Magazine celebrating the centennial of President Reagan's birth. First, here's a video clip from the award-winning documentary, Rendezvous with Destiny.
We're in the midst of a springtime of hope for America.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Impulses of an evil empire.
Tear down this wall.
I believe that together we can keep this rendezvous with destiny.
In the next several minutes, you will learn things about President Ronald Reagan that you've never seen, heard, or read before. Welcome to today's special Newsmax event celebrating the life and legacy of President Reagan. During this historic presentation, we will commemorate President Reagan's storied life. We'll revisit his 2 terms in office and recollect his proudest achievements and greatest challenges. Ronald Reagan's life reads like a fairy tale of success stories. He was an accomplished athlete, an honored veteran, a famous actor, the governor of California, and of course, our nation's 40th president.
He called himself a citizen politician and only entered politics when he warned government was gaining too much power. By then he was age 54. With a successful career behind him. Twice elected President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller government whose own government grew. A fiscal conservative who failed to balance the budget. His critics mistook his affability for weakness, but behind the smile and the charm existed an extraordinary leader with unique skills and bold and revolutionary ideas.
We only had time to share just a few of the top defining moments in Ronald Reagan's presidency, but you'll get to see them all in Rendezvous with Destiny. By the way, the president's close relationship with the Pope is especially fascinating. You'll also learn how dealing with an alcoholic father helped shape Reagan's ability to negotiate. And if you ever wondered what the leader of the free world likes to get for the holidays, well, you'll find that out as well. So let's review today in this free offer. We are sending you a copy of Ronald Reagan, Rendezvous with Destiny, and the collector's limited edition of our issue commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Reagan's birth.
Right now, when you subscribe to Newsmax Magazine, you can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan 100th Birthday Commemorative Edition. That's $25 in bonus gifts when you subscribe. Go to newsmax.com/Reagan13 to subscribe today. Join the millions who read Newsmax Magazine every month.
Are payday loans ruining your life? If you have 2 or more payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program that payday loan companies don't want you to know about.
This program will get payday loan companies out of your bank account and put an end to the payday loan nightmare. Call for free information and find out if Payday Loan Support Center is right for you. Payday loan companies usually trap you into paying rates as high as 700%. We understand payday lenders' tactics. Don't let them take advantage of you anymore. All you need is 2 or more payday loans to qualify. We can help even if you're behind in collections or have bad credit.
Internet payday loans qualify for this program as well. So call 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. The call is free and the consultation is free. Don't miss out. Call for your free information on payday loan relief. 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. Again, 800-250-5084.
Join the millions who read Newsmax magazine every month.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. We have some breaking news to report, sad news to report. Nelson Mandela has died at the age of 95. President Zuma of South Africa is addressing his nation right now as we speak, informing the people of the death of Mandela. It doesn't come as a great surprise. Nelson Mandela had been reported to be on his deathbed since earlier in the week, surrounded by his family and his loved ones. And, of course, prior to that, he had been in and out of the hospital, mostly in the hospital, and there had been many false alarms, if you will, where, you know, they were amazed that he turned around and pulled through and survived to last until this point. But at the age of 95, Nelson Mandela has died. We'll have more details as they become available, and I'm sure we'll do more on this in the show in the coming days. On the life and influence and meaning of the life of Nelson Mandela. Seems kind of trivial to go back to the everyday stuff and the mundane stuff here, but again, we don't have many more details at this point. We'll bring them to you when we do. But I did want to revisit something that we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about how Oyango Omar Obama, the uncle of Barack Obama, won the judge's consent to stay in the United States, even though he had been living here illegally for over 20 years. And he had said under oath at his hearing that Barack Obama in the 80s, when he went to Harvard, had stayed with him, okay, that he'd stayed with his uncle. This is what the uncle said. And the White House had denied this. The White House said that he had never met his uncle, according to the reports that I read. Today and yesterday I said, so who are you going to believe? You're going to believe this uncle who we have, aside from the fact that he's been breaking the law for 25 years and staying here, we have no reason to believe he's otherwise a liar. But every time Barack Obama opens his mouth, we have reason to believe he's a liar, and then we have the proof to back it up. So I said, who are you going to believe? I said, I believe the uncle. I said that yesterday. I said, I believe the uncle who, by the way, I said it's not out of the realm of possibility that Oyango Omar Obama might take Martin Bashir's place at MSNBC. Who knows? Anyway, turns out President Obama acknowledged today that he lived with his Kenyan uncle for a brief period in the 80s, as the uncle had said. Okay, while he was preparing to attend Harvard Law School, contradicting a statement more than a year ago that the White House had no record of the two ever meeting. Their relationship came into question Tuesday at the deportation hearing when his uncle said what he said. Today, a White House official said the press office had not fully researched the relationship between the president and his uncle before telling the Boston Globe that they had no record of the two meeting. So there you go. All right? Now they researched it. Now they know. But I was right. I believed Oyango Omar Obama over Barack Obama, and I was right. What do I win? Nothing. All right, finishing the countdown interview tonight with Chris Matthews and the president. We played you the top of the top 10 through 3. Here's number 2 of sycophantic remarks made by the Tingle Man himself, Chris Matthews, put together by the Media Research Center. And here is cut number 19.
I'd love to find something to criticize about it. You got anything?
No. I've been criticized for saying he inspires me, and the hell with my critics.
Okay. That was his, I think there was supposed to be more than that. He's supposed to say, in the Bible, they talk about Jesus serving the good wine last. I think the Democrats did the same. So now he's just like Jesus. That was after his convention speech in August 28th of 2008 in Denver. And here's number 1. Number 1. Sycophantic remark made by Chris Matthews. According to Media Research Center, here is cut 20.
Always speak before Barack Obama, not after Barack Obama.
I have to tell you, it's part of reporting this case, this election. The feeling most people get when they hear a Barack Obama speech. I felt this thrill going up my leg. I mean, I don't have that too often.
Steady.
No, seriously. It's a dramatic event. He speaks about America in a way that has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the feeling we have about our country. And that is an objective assessment.
An objective.
So that's what this law means to me.
Anyway, all right, so that was in February 12th of 2008. That was during the campaign. That was prior to him winning the election, of course. And that was the first time he said he got a thrill going up his leg again. I don't know what that means, a thrill up your leg. Up your leg. That's got implications. Anyway, and it was the obnoxious, vulgar, disgusting, in my opinion, Keith Olbermann, who said, steady. In other words, don't get carried away with yourself here. But what is it? Someone should ask Chris Matthews, what is a thrill up your leg? How many of you out there have ever had a thrill up your leg? I don't even know what it means. All right, folks, we're coming back with the third hour of the Steve Malzberg Show. We'll be joined by Congressman Jack Kingston, Dr. Ben Carson, Jennifer Rubin, and more. If you keep it right where it is, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV, and, of course, let's not leave out radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks, and I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. You can finally have that room you've always wanted with our total basement finishing system. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again.
Call now for your free basement inspection at 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794. Learn how to waterproof your basement now. Call this number, 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794.
Have you hit a brick wall with your weight loss? Does your weight management plan need an extra edge for success? If so, listen up. Metabio is the revolutionary weight loss breakthrough designed to help you reach your goal weight as part of your diet and exercise program. Metabio is the premium nutritional supplement power-packed with 5 high-quality ingredients. When used as part of a healthy lifestyle, each component is formulated to help you reach your goals and maintain your optimal weight and wellness. It supports healthy metabolism and promotes fat loss. Now, learn how you can try a 30-day supply of Metabio. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit themetabio.com/special. Act now and also receive instant access to our downloadable special report, a practical guide to healthy weight management. Try it now at themetabio.com/special. That's the metabio.com/special. While supplies last. themetabio.com/special.
welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. An Arctic blast making its way east is causing bitterly cold conditions that have been fatal in some parts of the country, and the cold weather could last until next week. Snow is piling up as that winter storm moves across the country's midsection, and frigid temperatures are spreading all the way from the west coast up to the Great Lakes. Now in Denver, the Salvation Army has patrolled the city to get homeless people out of these treacherous conditions. Overnight temperatures are still dipping below zero there. It's been so cold that road crews are using solid and liquid de-icers to try and keep roads safe, but they admit it's an uphill fight.
It loses its effectiveness at 15 degrees. Basically, we put it down and it has the potential to refreeze.
Now, the massive storm system has also dumped more than 2 feet of snow in Minnesota, where at least 5 people have died in weather-related accidents. So stay safe out there, everyone. Now, if you're planning on picking up some fast food today, prepare for long waits as workers are walking off the job to protest the federal minimum wage. Demonstrations are taking place across the country as workers want the minimum wage raised from $7.25 an hour all the way up to $15 an hour. That's the federal minimum wage. Now, they say this would not only benefit their families, but the economy as a whole. The move is something President Obama says he agrees with, and he says an opportunity gap and an income inequality issue are things that must be addressed. And 29 people are dead in a series of attacks on Yemen's defense ministry. A suicide car bomber blew up the gates of a complex in the capital of Sana'a. A gun battle followed there, and also at a hospital inside the complex, which injured an additional 70 people. This witness said he heard gunfire and saw people dressed in military uniforms throwing bombs inside the hospital. 2 medical staff members are among the dead. No group has taken credit for Thursday's attacks, but correspondents say it bears the hallmarks of an al-Qaeda attack. Officials say the situation is now contained, though, and most of the gunmen have been killed. Also overseas, John Kerry is meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem today amid tensions on Iran.
The United States will do everything in our power to make certain that Iran's nuclear program, a program of weaponization possibilities, is terminated.
As you heard, Kerry reassured Netanyahu that the Obama administration has a deep commitment to Israel's security. Netanyahu tempered his criticism of the agreement that the U.S. recently reached with Iran on nuclear weapons. Also, while Kerry is in the Holy Land, he met with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank. Kerry is still holding out hope for a new Mideast peace agreement. And coming up next, not exactly in line with the holiday spirit, is it? A tree lighting in Philly boils over. See what happens after fists started flying. Plus, a Newsmax exclusive with Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole. Immigration reform is back. His take on the House's plan to fix the broken system.
Do you owe the IRS? Do you have unfiled tax returns? Have you received a wage garnishment or bank levy? Maybe a lien has been filed against you. OMG Tax can help you with all your IRS tax problems. Don't wait another second. Take action now. Call my team at OMG Tax. Honest and professional, we don't make false promises. If you owe back taxes, or if the IRS is garnishing your paycheck, you need help now. OMG Tax can help you get your life back to normal. If you're serious about handling your tax matter, call OMG Tax now and get the peace of mind you deserve. Don't let the IRS take your next paycheck. Stop waiting and call our team at OMG Tax. OMG Tax has a straightforward, no-nonsense approach and has helped many Americans resolve their IRS nightmare. Call OMG Tax now.
Call 1-800-255-6485. That's 1-800-255-6485. 800-255-6485.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, Rockefeller Center's Christmas tree was lit for the first time this holiday season. The lighting of New York's official Christmas tree is a beloved annual event for the city. But in Philadelphia, the annual tree lighting there didn't go quite as well. This is in Love Park, a little ironic there, because a group of onlookers broke out into a fight. Police say 2 women had to be separated after the skirmish. The cause of the argument, one woman was standing in the other woman's way. So let's just remember it's Christmas, everybody. And Representative Tom Kroll of Oklahoma tells Newsmax TV during an exclusive interview that when it comes to immigration, amnesty is not an option. Kroll doesn't think there's any entertainment of that idea in the House, and he says Speaker Boehner's plan is still on track to come up for a vote.
Not only do I not favor, I'll just tell you politically couldn't pass the House, and there's no proposal out there that actually embraces amnesty.
That's going to do it for this edition of your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. Now here's the Steve Malzberg Show in New York.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX.
And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed hour number 3 of the Thursday edition, and joining us right now is Congressman Jack Kingston, Republican from the 1st Congressional District in the great state of Georgia. And Congressman, welcome.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. I understand that you are running for the U.S. Senate from your state.
I am. It's nonstop. Georgia's almost 10 million people, and so I'm trying to shake every hand I can.
I can imagine. What prompted you to run for that chamber?
Well, as a House member, I'm just sick and tired of everything that we pass to the Senate gets killed. I think that the Speaker said today they have killed over 150 pieces of legislation that the House has passed, and these are reforms that bring just push better products, whether it's workfare over welfare or budget reform, reducing the spending, trying to have private market health care. The Senate doesn't even debate it. Under Harry Reid, they just sit on it. And so I think if we're going to change America around, we've got to start with the U.S. Senate. And as a soldier, I want to go where the battle is being fought.
All right. Well, what do you think the prospects are for not only yourself, but for the Republican Party taking over the Senate in 2014?
Well, I heard Mitch McConnell say recently that there are 8 states that are in play, and including the state of Michigan, which is one that has leaned Democrat. But because of the enormous unpopularity of Obamacare and the mistrust that it has created or underscored in government and this administration, I think the Republicans have a pretty good shot at it.
All right, let's talk about Obamacare. You said the magic word there. Of course, the Democrats have taken the stance that, what's your alternative? Not only the Democrats, as I talk about every day on this show, I play soundbite after soundbite. Every time a Republican or a conservative goes on any of the cable shows, the question from the host, if it's CNN, MSNBC, is, well, what's your plan? And Debbie Wasserman Schultz gets away with saying they want to take away, they want to go back to pre-existing conditions. They want to kick kids off their parents' health care, et cetera. You know the talking point. So I've asked this of many, many people on the Republican side, but let me ask you. Do the Republicans need, of course only in the House, it'll never get to the Senate, as you alluded to earlier, do they need to pass some kind of version of what they see as health care reform and then have that to wave around and shut these people up?
Well, I think, number one, we would be better off without Obamacare than we are with it. I don't think it's fixable. I think that just removing it and defunding it would be a very positive step for health care in America. I think in terms of being Republicans, the alternatives that we offered prior to the passage of Obamacare and during the debate, and still offer today. These are still sound alternatives, and one of them being expanded health savings accounts so that consumers can be in the driver's seat and not the insurance company and not the bureaucracy. Number two, letting people buy insurance across state lines, which is something that you can do with just about any product in the country. It increases choice, increases competition. It's good for the market. Number three, letting small businesses band together and get the economies of scale that large purchasers get. That would be something that would bring down the cost of health care. And then ending the frivolous lawsuits.
Right, tort reform, absolutely, yeah.
Nothing in Obamacare touches
all right, well, Congressman, with all due respect, I am all for that. But you know, and I know, that if that's, first of all, well, I'll get back to whether or not you have to at least put that in legislation and vote on it and have it so you could say, here's our plan, as opposed to, oh, we have plenty of plans. I think it's important to come up with one. But you know and I know, they're going to say, oh, so pre-existing conditions come back. The donut hole comes back open. They're going to kick your kids off Obamacare. I mean, there are 3 or 4 things that the public does like about this, if it could work, and you're going to give the opportunity. It's almost of all these people on the left, the Wasserman Schultzes, every one of them, to say what I just said. Is there any way to keep some of those, highlights that people seem to like, or at least they sound good, in a Republican plan?
Well, on the pre-existing illness situation, there were, I think, 30 state pools that already had high-risk pools that would deal with pre-existing conditions. And so, to me, there is a mechanism. It's a state-funded, it's a state-driven mechanism, and it was out there prior to Obamacare. We do the same thing with the windstorm pool on property and casualty insurance on the coast. We do the same thing with flood insurance, although that one is more national. But there are alternatives to address these problems without taking over 1/6 of the economy and having a command-control socialistic health care program. To me, I think we can debate that, and I think Republicans and conservatives would be comfortable in our position.
Okay, well, I hope, because it's a losing. I'm just telling you, it's a losing. As much sense as it makes, it's a losing message. If they're going to be able to tell people Republicans want to get rid of the guarantee that pre-existing conditions go bye-bye and the donut hole opens and your kids can't stay on the insurance till they're 26, as bizarre as that is, it resonates with people, and you're going to have a hard time PR-wise. Having said all that, whatever your plan does come out to be, do you think you need to pass something in the House so you could say this is our plan, as opposed to, which is true, we have several proposals? I mean, do you need one?
I think if we put something on the floor, it would remove some of that debate, but I would say this. While we might get criticized for the 3 things that you've brought up, just keep in mind right now about 6 million people have had their insurance canceled. Just about everybody has had a premium increase.
Right.
Many people have actually been laid off as businesses have tried to get around the health care mandate that triggers at 50 employees, and thousands of employees have been put on a part-time basis.
And 100 million are going to lose it next year.
Yes, and if you're young, and I could not believe the audacity of the president, who, by the way, has not signed up for Obamacare himself, nor, of course, has Harry Reid's staff.
No, and by the way, Debbie Wasserman Schultz said just before we started the show that she has not signed up yet either.
It's unbelievable. But, in his hypocrisy yesterday, brings in the young people of America and says, all right, I need your help. I need y'all to sign up for Obamacare. Oh, hey, Mr. President, we're not the ones having claims. And, Mr. President, you said we could keep our own health care. And, Mr. President, this is nothing but a tax. I guess, though, we're supposed to feel patriotic and good about it, the fact that you've been lying about everything else. So now we're supposed to say, because you brought us to the White House, we want to be good team players. It was such a con job. It was absolutely offensive. If George Bush had brought in college students from around the country and said, hey, I need y'all to say enlist in the military, the left-wing press would have gone ballistic.
Oh, absolutely. They're calling for bartenders to have happy hours to have people sign up. I guess you got to get them good and drunk. I mean, what's going on is that's at least according to a report. What's going on is just outrageous. John Boehner said earlier today, we only have about a minute and a half left. I won't play the bite. He said we have to be better in the way we deal with women. He said we should be more sensitive to women. You believe that's true among Republicans? Is there a need for that, or is he making an issue where none exists?
I think he's maybe making more of an issue than there could be out there. I think women are worried about their taxes. They're worried about economic opportunity. They're worried about the price of gas. They're worried about government takeover of health care. And so that's just the same thing that men are worried about too. So I don't know that we have to have a separate marketing plan for women. That's what the Democrats always do. They divide and conquer any group that they can create an interest group and say, we need laws specifically designed for you and your type person. And whereas we have just a good fundamental government system, I think everybody will prosper regardless of your sex or your race or national origin.
All right, Congressman Kingston, where could people go if they want to help your Senate effort?
JackKingston.org.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll come back, sir.
I look forward to it.
All right, thank you very much. That's Congressman Jack Kingston from Georgia, Congressional District number 1. Can't get higher than number 1, or lower than number 1. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Anyway, we're coming back, and when we do come back, ladies and gentlemen, we have some sound for you. You're going to want to hear this. I promise you.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
We're in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and I'm not surprised. The statistics on obesity mirror an increasing trend of eating out or ordering in. In fact, some people dine out every night, but eating in restaurants is one of the biggest enemies of your heart. When you're in a restaurant, you don't really know what you're getting, and the calorie counts of many restaurant dishes are astronomical. In fact, some single dishes contain more calories than we should eat in an entire day. Eating in fast food restaurants is even worse. A diet of hamburgers, French fries, and shakes constitutes a fast lane to the emergency room. If you really want to help your heart, get in the habit of cooking simple meals at home. Here are 3 easy tips that will make your food taste better than even the best restaurant. Choose the best fruit in season. Your local farmer's market is a great place to start. It will probably still cost less than that pie you were thinking of buying. Get in the habit of using fresh herbs. You can use them in egg white omelets or dust them on the fish you grill or bake. And for a light dessert, choose a square or 2 of dark chocolate that you and your spouse can enjoy. There are lots of ways to make your heart healthy, but there are also lots of ways to damage it. That's why I wrote Fix It, Dr. Crandall's 90-day program. In it, I'll tell you how to kickstart your metabolism every day, how to pick the best diet for you, how to stop hunger from sabotaging your diet, the 7 superfoods for your heart. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS, or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show. No. This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Once again, just to let you know that Nelson Mandela has died today at the age of 95. The announcement coming from the president of South Africa about 20 minutes or 25 minutes ago. Mandela, of course, the iconic figure who returned South Africa to hope after it was torn apart by apartheid, and he spent, in fact, 27 years behind bars protesting and fighting apartheid, and he became the nation's first black president, the first black president of South Africa back in 1994. So Nelson Mandela dies at the age of 95 today. We'll have much more on that a little bit later in the show, and also much more tomorrow as it becomes available. But I did point out to you earlier that the former president's friends and loved ones had been gathered around his bedside earlier in the week, and they called it his deathbed. So this was not altogether unexpected. Certainly, he had been in failing health for quite some time. Joining us now as we continue with the Steve Malzberg Show, and by the way, bottom of the hour, Dr. Ben Carson, who we spoke with a little bit right before the show actually started. So we won't be addressing the situation on Dr. Young because on the situation with Nelson Mandela because it hadn't happened yet. But joining us right now is Dr. Scott Gottlieb, who is a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, was a senior official at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services under George W. Bush. Hello, doctor. Good to talk to you again.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Okay, you co-wrote a piece with, of all people, Ezekiel Emanuel in the New York Times. I think it ran yesterday, talking about a projected doctor shortage, which the both of you collaborating say will not happen. Why could we not expect a doctor shortage when we've already been told that we kind of have one now, and with all the millions of more people who will be seeking doctors and fewer and fewer people, the reward of being a doctor financially going down? Why could we not anticipate that?
Well, a lot of the predictions of a doctor shortage make assumptions based on today's use of physician services. People are saying, look, it takes this many physicians to service a given population of patients, and so we're going to be servicing more patients in the future because of the aging population and more people carrying insurance potentially, and so we're going to need more doctors. But they don't bake into those assumptions any view on how productivity is going to change among physicians, and also how technology is going to change patterns of aging and patterns of illness. We know that over time, technology has enabled fewer physicians to treat more patients because the physicians themselves become more productive, and old age becomes less acute. Patients spend a few days in the hospitals. They're treated for illnesses as outpatients, sometimes with nurses instead of physicians because they're less acute, they're less ill. And so I think it's wrong to make straight-line assumptions from today's situation and not try to accommodate how things are going to evolve.
All right. When we talk about how things are going to evolve, you testified before Congress about the exchanges and keeping your doctor. And I know, I'm sure there's plenty of places where you and Mr. Emanuel part company on agreement and go in your separate ways. Let's talk about that a little bit. Keeping your doctor is becoming less and less likely. Keeping your insurance is certainly next year going to hit the bulk of Americans when the employer mandate kicks in. So where are we headed?
Well, that's right. I mean, to two different issues between a doctor shortage and whether or not you can keep your doctor under Obamacare. You're not going to be able to keep your doctor under Obamacare. I mean, there might be plenty of physicians, but the plans themselves aren't going to let you see them, because what we're looking at under that scheme are insurance plans that are extremely restrictive. They have very narrow networks of providers, and so most people are going to look at those networks, and a lot of their doctors aren't going to be in them, and they won't be able to see the doctors that they've customarily seen in the past. I found a plan, for example, in Florida that only offered access to 7 pediatricians for a county with 260,000 kids. I found another plan in California where the nearest urologist was 80 miles away, and one plan that only had 9 dermatologists in its network, and they were all about 100 miles away from the county where the plan was supposed to service. So it's going to be hard to access physicians in a lot of these plans because of the way they were designed. This is really a throwback to the old HMO model. People rejected this in the 1990s in favor of flexible preferred provider organizations, and now they're being forced back onto those schemes.
Well, and it's going to give the appearance, in effect, of doctor shortages to the layman.
Absolutely.
You know, they're going to say, I can't see a doctor. There's no doctors around. They're only 100 miles away. The lines are to get an appointment for a pediatrician in that area with all those possible patients and 7 doctors. I mean, that's insane.
Well, but that's how Medicaid operates, for example. There are plenty of doctors available to service the Medicaid population, but
they're just not in the plan. Yeah.
So they're not in the plan. And so there'll be plenty of doctors in the future, in my opinion. There just aren't going to be doctors available to people who are in insurance schemes where, you know, you're not paying enough or you're restricted access to physicians. Medicaid does that right now, and Obamacare is going to do that in the future. The insurance companies themselves are calling the Obamacare plan Medicaid Plus. We ought to take them at their word. If that's what they're calling the plans, that's exactly what they're going to be.
Yeah, well, we got about a minute and a half left. Made some news on this show with Mark Halpern saying that there were indeed death panels built into the bill. And now we find out that Obama is going to get to appoint those 15 panel members with just 51 votes in the Senate. Doesn't need 60 anymore. You agree that we're headed for severe rationing and quote unquote death panels?
Well, I think that IPAB, the board you're talking about, is unlikely to adjudicate access to individual technologies. I think what they're more likely to do is give Medicare and Medicaid, the agency, the authority to start making those decisions. And so I think you're going to see government agencies become much more involved in adjudicating access to specific technologies and deciding which groups of patients, you know, should have access to a technology based on things like other illnesses they have or, you know, other assumptions about their
age. I mean, in Great Britain and all, it's age, it's expense.
Age is less likely, yeah.
Productivity after the expense of the procedure or the equipment.
I think those are less likely, but certainly, you know, they might say something like patients with very advanced heart failure are unlikely to benefit from a certain procedure, and therefore it shouldn't, you know, wouldn't be eligible for it.
Dr. Gottlieb, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Dr. Scott Gottlieb, resident fellow, American Enterprise Institute, former Bush administration official in Medicare and Medicaid services, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. When we come back, as I mentioned, we spoke to Dr. Ben Carson a short while before we went on the air. You'll hear that interview when we come back right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man the wealthy invested differently than normal people, and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
6029.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream. Streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
So what drives me as a grandson, a son, a father, as an American, is to make sure that every striving, hardworking, optimistic kid in America has the same incredible chance that this country gave me.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. President Obama yesterday in announcing that that going forward, the focus of his presidency for the remainder of the term will be economic equality and addressing what he called economic inequality. Joining us right now, I am so happy to say it's been almost 3 weeks since I sat down with him at the Restoration Weekend down in Palm Beach and met his lovely wife and heard him give the keynote speech down there. Dr. Ben Carson, Professor Emeritus of Neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University. Hello, doctor.
Hi, wonderful to be with you again.
Well, good to talk to you again. All right, so this fits, I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but you just wrote a piece, very interesting piece called Getting to the Top by Starting at the Bottom. And you heard what the president had to say yesterday, and you know what's going on today all over the country with fast food workers protesting and picketing, and they want $15 an hour for flipping burgers. What's your reaction to Obama yesterday and what's going on today?
Well, you know, I wish that people would really concentrate more on what creates economic opportunity and what creates value. No one should expect to start out making a lot of money. And as I mentioned in my article, that came out yesterday. You know, I worked many, many jobs as a youngster growing up in Detroit. Many of them didn't even pay minimum wage, but what they did pay me was an opportunity to gain significant experience. And in one case, you know, I took a job as a lab assistant at my high school, but I learned enough that I was able to compete successfully against college kids for a lab position at a university while I was still in high school. Couldn't have gotten that if I hadn't done the very low-wage job in my high school at first. And people need to recognize that there's an actual progression that occurs as you make yourself more valuable, but you have to have some place to start. And if we make that starting place a point where employers have to pay you more than you actually bring to the job, what they're going to do is simply not offer jobs. And what that is doing is hurting, particularly our young people. They need a place to start. So, you know, we have to be able to look at the big picture here. Certainly, all of us want people to make lots of money and to do well. But there is a progression. There is a way that it's done. It's just not conferred upon you.
Well, absolutely. And how, I mean, you know, when I heard you speak, I learned so much about your story, your personal story. It is just inconceivable to think of you ever being a terrible student, maybe the worst student in his class, and to talk about your mother. I got to tell you, you talked about the importance of, and this fits in, I believe, to where you'd like to see the youth of America be today, and a lot of it starts with education and parenting. And you talk about how your mom made you and your siblings read a book a week and write a report on it. I got to tell you, my son is basically an A student. He's in middle school. When I got home, I know he doesn't read a lot. When I got home, I told him that story, and I now got him reading a book a week, though he has to read an hour a day before the TV goes on. And I want to thank you for inspiring me to do something I've been meaning to do for a long time. But talk about your experience and how valuable, you know, your mom and your education obviously got you to where you are today.
Well, you know, before I say that, I will say that, you know, I've been asking audiences recently, and I do a lot of public speaking, to promise themselves that they will subtract a half an hour or an hour a day from their television watching and read. Learn something. Pick up an American history book, a world history book, an algebra book, something. You would be amazed at how much you will know after a year by just doing that.
Yeah.
But, you know, my mother observed as she was working, because she worked as a domestic, cleaning other people's houses, these tended to be very successful people. And where we lived, there tended to be a lot of very unsuccessful people. So she was very observant, and she said, what's the difference? And she noticed that they read a lot, and they didn't look at a lot of television, and they didn't waste a lot of time. So she came home and imposed that upon us. We were, of course, quite disgruntled. But and her friends, you know, just criticized her severely. You can't make boys stay in the house and read books. They'll grow up, but they'll hate you. And I would say, Mother, you know they're right, but she wasn't going to listen to that. And we had to do it. And
you also tell a story. I don't know how true this part is, but you said that little did you know that when you handed in the report on the book, she couldn't read all that well, so it didn't really matter what the report said.
That's exactly right. She would put little highlights and underlines and check marks, and we'd think she was reading them. But the thing that really happened was, you know, I had been a terrible student, and as I started reading those books, all of a sudden, I was able to answer the questions. I used to be amazed at the smart kids because they knew the answers all the time. All of a sudden, I was one of them. And within the space of a year and a half, I went from the bottom of the class to the top of the class. I reached a point where if I had 5 minutes, I was reading a book. My poor mother, who was trying to get me to read before, was now saying, Benjamin, put that book down and eat your dinner.
Well, that's a real, obviously it inspired me, and I'm sure you're inspiring millions because, like you said, you speak almost every day or every night. So you're reaching great audiences through shows like this and through your speeches. We're talking to Dr. Ben Carson here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you about the Obamacare fiasco. And, you know, when we talked, you talked about what President Carson would push for. But before we get to that, young people, keeping with young people, the recent polls that have come out show that they are, and I'm impressed and I'm shocked, I have to admit, they are disenchanted with the man they considered their hero. They think they've been lied to, or they know they've been lied to. They don't want Obamacare. They don't have any interest in it. They don't believe him anymore. I mean, are you floored by these findings as I am or not?
No, because I do get a chance to interact with a lot of young people, and many of them are thinking people. My generation, unfortunately, is full of a lot of people who just don't think for themselves and go along sort of herd mentality. And somebody says something, oh, yeah, that's what it is. And a lot of these young people actually think and do a little analysis and recognize that obviously not only does this not work for them, it doesn't work for anybody. And, I think there are people who truly want to have good health reform, but there's a proper way to go about it, and there's a proper way to go about anything. And if you start down one path and it's not working, you don't just sort of double down on it. At least that's not how we do it in the world of business. You stop, you analyze it, you look and see, is there a better way? Is there something we can learn from this? And then you move forward, taking smaller steps, making sure that you get things right as you go. That's the way intelligent people do things. And, we all want very good health care for everybody. Is it a right? Of course not. Is it a responsibility? Of course it is. So, yes, we have responsibility to all of those in our society. We have enough money to do it. We spend twice as much per capita on health care as the next closest nation. And yet, what a mess we have, largely because what do you need for good health care? You need a patient and a health care provider. Along comes the middleman to facilitate the relationship, and now the middleman is the primary entity with the healthcare provider and the patient that it's making call. The whole thing is upside down.
Absolutely. Doctor, I want you to hear Jonathan Turley, a law professor at Georgetown, the whole thing. And here's what he said testifying before the Congress the other day, cut 37.
Professor Turley, the Constitution's system of separated powers is not simply about stopping one branch of government from usurping another. It's about protecting the liberty of Americans from the dangers of concentrated government power. How does the President's unilateral modification of acts of Congress affect both the balance of power between the political branches and the liberty interests of the American people?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The danger is quite severe. The problem with what the President is doing is that he's not simply posing a danger to the constitutional system. He's becoming the very danger the Constitution was designed to avoid. That is the concentration of power in branch.
All right. By the way, George Washington University, my mistake.
Yeah.
So he's becoming the very danger the Constitution was designed to avoid. That's the concentration of power in a single branch.
Exactly, which is what I've been saying for a very long time. And, a lot of people were critical of me when I said that Obamacare is the worst thing since slavery. I didn't say it was the same thing as slavery, which, of course, the left said. He said it's the same thing as slavery. But because it is fundamentally changing Americans and giving way too much power to a branch of government over the people, a society that was supposed to be free, we've fundamentally allowed the government to take control of.
And he's referring also, Doctor, to the fact that Obama changes laws, not only Obamacare, postpones, delays, but also other laws as well.
Right. It's the insidious grab of power. This is what transforms a free society to a dominated society. You can go back historically and see it happening in many different situations. We have to be smart enough not to allow that to happen to us. It's happening in spades. But I believe that people are actually starting to wake up now. And, what we have to do is concentrate on a freedom for the people. So when we do anything, including reforming health care, we need to make sure that the power stays within the hands of the people. It should be between the person and their health care provider, not between the person, the government, and the health care provider.
I got one more for you, Doctor, and that is supporters are drafting you to run for president. John Philip Sousa, the fourth great-grandson and namesake of the composer, is leading a national draft Ben Carson for president committee. There are more than 200,000 Americans that believe believe, who have signed already, urging you to run for president. You and I talk about this every time we talk, but where are you, and when might you decide? And are you flattered by this, influenced by this, or it doesn't enter into any decision?
Well, the way I kind of look at it, my job right now is to try to make sure that the American people have their eyes open and recognize what's happening and understand that we, the people, are not each other's enemies. The enemies are those people jerking everybody's chains and trying to make them think they're enemies and driving in wedges at any particular craft to divide and conquer. As far as my running for public office, it was never my intention. I thought when I retired I was going to play golf and learn how to play the organ, but obviously the good Lord had a different plan for me. I will obviously listen, but that is not what I really had intended to do.
All right, Doctor, always a pleasure to speak to you, sir. I thank you so much.
My pleasure. Keep up the great work.
You too. Take care, Dr. Ben Carson, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Very interesting. And, and not only, this isn't the only effort that I've come across to draft the doctor for the presidency, but this is also part of a larger story where there's also an effort to draft Andrew Napolitano, the judge, Fox News chief legal analyst, to run for the presidency. Of course, the push for outsiders. I think Ben Carson would make a wonderful candidate. And he really did inspire me. He really did inspire me to make sure my child, who's a good student to begin with, but not a great, not interested in reading much. I told him this story, and now he's reading every day. It's part of the repertoire, as they say. Yeah, I was looking for a piece of paper, which I couldn't find, and I knew I had something else to ask. But anyway, we're coming back. We got one final segment left in the Thursday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now, there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now, you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Newsmax Magazine is proud to present a special tribute to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. It's a very special documentary and commemorative issue of Newsmax Magazine celebrating the centennial of President Reagan's birth. First, here's a video clip from the award-winning documentary, Rendezvous with Destiny.
We're in the midst of a springtime of hope for America.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Impulses of an evil empire.
Tear down this wall.
I believe that together we can keep this rendezvous with destiny.
In the next several minutes, you will learn things about President Ronald Reagan that you've never seen, heard, or read before. Welcome to today's special Newsmax event celebrating the life and legacy of President Reagan. During this historic presentation, we will commemorate President Reagan's storied life. We'll revisit his 2 terms in office and recollect his proudest achievements and greatest challenges. Ronald Reagan's life reads like a fairy tale of success stories. He was an accomplished athlete, an honored veteran, a famous actor, the governor of California, and of course, our nation's 40th president.
He called himself a citizen politician and only entered politics when he warned government was gaining too much power. By then he was age 54. With a successful career behind him. Twice elected President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan was a contradiction to some. Once a Democrat, then a Republican. A champion of smaller government whose own government grew. A fiscal conservative who failed to balance the budget. His critics mistook his affability for weakness, but behind the smile and the charm
existed an extraordinary leader with unique skills and bold and revolutionary ideas.
We only had time to share just a few of the top defining moments in Ronald Reagan's presidency, but you'll get to see them all in Rendezvous with Destiny. By the way, the president's close relationship with the Pope is especially fascinating. You'll also learn how dealing with an alcoholic father helped shape Reagan's ability to negotiate. And if you ever wondered what the leader of the free world likes to get for the holidays, well, you'll find that out as well. So let's review today in this free offer. We are sending you a copy of Ronald Reagan, Rendezvous with Destiny, and the collector's limited edition of our issue commemorating the 100th anniversary of President Reagan's birth.
Right now, when you subscribe to Newsmax Magazine, you can own both the DVD and receive the special Reagan 100th Birthday Commemorative Edition. That's $25 in bonus gifts when you subscribe. Go to newsmax.com/Reagan13 to subscribe today. Join the millions who read Newsmax Magazine every month.
Are payday loans ruining your life? If you have 2 or more payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program that payday loan companies don't want you to know about.
This program will get payday loan companies out of your bank account and put an end to the payday loan nightmare. Call for free information and find out if Payday Loan Support Center is right for you. Payday loan companies usually trap you into paying rates as high as 700%. We understand payday lenders' tactics. Don't let them take advantage of you anymore. All you need is 2 or more payday loans to qualify. We can help even if you're behind in collections or have bad credit.
Internet payday loans qualify for this program as well. So call 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. The call is free and the consultation is free. Don't miss out. Call for your free information on payday loan relief. 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. Again, 800-250-5084.
That's prostaterevive.com/offer.
Trying to get them to be a little more sensitive. You know, you look around the Congress, there are a lot more females in the Democrat caucus than there are in the Republican caucus. And, you know, some of our members just aren't as sensitive as they ought to be.
Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. John Boehner, by the way, the president has made remarks regarding the passing of Nelson Mandela, who died earlier today at the age of 95. Joining us right now is our friend Jennifer Rubin, Washington Post columnist, author of the Right Turn blog. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Any thoughts on the passing of Nelson Mandela?
I was just looking at a number of the statements that kept rolling in, and they all cite a few things. His devotion to equality, his nobility in suffering and in persecution, and his great success in transforming not just one nation, but setting an example, and how familiar that is to Americans who have just gone through this 50th anniversary celebration of the March on Washington. I think it reminds us that some things really are universal, and that it's important to set examples from the world. It makes me sad that we have a president who cares so little about civil liberties and about human rights around the world, about persecution of women, persecution of Christian minorities, for example. And I would hope that it's time for reflection for him and for others.
Yeah, no, it's very, very well said. And along those lines, as we move on, you heard John Boehner, that was from earlier today. And, you know, on CNN, they've already jumped on it. Dana Bash interviewing Eric Cantor saying, you have a problem communicating with women, sir? What's the matter? Do the men in your party have a problem reaching out and communicating with women? I think Boehner opened himself up here. If he was asked about this coaching, what he should have said was, we're looking to improve relations with all our constituencies, including women, instead of saying, I don't think we're sensitive enough to women. I just think he just opened a door here that he's going to get blasted through.
I think he's probably fortunate that it was a big news day otherwise, because otherwise I think the press would be sort of obsessing over this. I mean, he at least has the benefit of candor. Yeah, they've had some people who said some really stupid things, and it's probably good for them to get a little bit of instruction from the outside. So I don't think it's a huge moment. I think it is indicative, however, of the sort of foibles that and self-inflicted wounds that have prevented Republicans, not just in the House, but more importantly in the Senate, from winning important races.
Yeah, Reince Priebus, though, came on earlier, and he said that it's not, it's just not the Democrats that have, the Republicans that have a problem with women. It's in fact the Democrats. So I just think by those remarks will come back to bite him. Like you said, the passing of Nelson Mandela has kind of diminished the coverage of that, but I think it's something that they'll be saving and bringing up again and again. Let's talk about some of the things you've written about recently, and you talk about the speech given by Obama yesterday. And, who knew that for the rest of his presidency, the focus is not going to be getting people back to work. It's not going to be fixing Obamacare. It's not going to be any of that stuff. It's going to be a wage inequality. I mean, another day, another change of heart by this president, I guess.
I was having lunch today with an old-time Democrat who's been on the Hill for a long time, and he said, this is a president who's sort of thrown in the towel on his second term. He's all about pumping up the base at this point. And I think that's right. I think that's how you look at it, that he's not going to win back the support of centrists and certainly not of conservatives. His party's probably going to take a beating in 2014. So what's he got? He just has to throw red meat at the base and make sure as many of them stay on the reservation as is humanly possible. So that's why you have a speech that sounded like Elizabeth Warren meets Bill Ayers meets Barack Obama. Frankly, it was an appalling speech because so much of what he does has promoted poverty, has increased.
Yes, absolutely.
Inequality.
Yeah.
And, he acts when he gives these speeches like someone else has been president for the last 5 years. Oh, this is such a terrible thing, and look, it's gotten worse in recent years. Where has he been? I think sometimes he thinks of himself as a community organizer and forgets he's been the guy in charge.
Absolutely.
So, if this was such an overwhelming issue for him, why wasn't he working on some of these things? And, there are a lot of simple things he could have done along the way, including one of the things he says is reforming the tax code. Well, if he wasn't so obsessed with increasing taxes on the so-called rich, we might have gotten that far. He says liberals can't be anti-business. This is the most anti-business president we've ever had. So no wonder the job market is in the trash. And, of course, he refuses to look at any of the real causes of this issue, which include things like the breakup of the family, inner-city incarceration rates for young black men, all sorts of factors, high school dropout rates that almost guarantee that people will wind up in poverty. I think we all know by now the statistic that if you finish high school, if you don't get pregnant if you're a woman or get someone else pregnant if you're a guy, you don't have a drug or alcohol problem, you have about a 90% chance of staying out of poverty. Why aren't we doing a full press to encourage all those behaviors? That would be a tremendous help for the problem. Yep. Why does he oppose vouchers for poor kids in Louisiana, which is another one?
Matt, it's a great piece. You wrote 10 problems with Obama's income inequality speech. Easy for me to say. Read it all, folks, at WashingtonPost.com. It's the Right Turn column by Jennifer Rubin. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Steve.
Pleasure. All right, folks, tomorrow we'll talk more about the legacy of Nelson Mandela and, of course, the news of the day on the Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show right here on Newsmax TV and radio. Thank you.
The Steve Malzberg Show.